Hello and welcome to the Eagle Insights podcast. I am your host, Henry Conti, the communications coordinator for the Bellbrook-Sugarcreek Local School District. Today we have a man who wears many hats, including lunchroom aide, bus driver, and the happiest man on the planet. If you think I'm kidding, I challenge you to listen to Raphael Daniels for the next 30 minutes, and if you aren't smiling, then I'm not sure what to do for you. The man is just so kind and genuine and authentically himself that it's infectious. There's nothing more to say except cue the eagle. Mr. Daniels, thank you so much for joining us here on the Eagle Insights podcast. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things, so thank you for joining us today. The first thing I want to talk about, you do a couple different jobs with the district. One of them is a lunchroom assistant monitor. What's the official title?
Lunchroom aide. Thank you so much for having me too, Henry.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you do there, because it's not, I think as you kind of told me earlier, it's not just opening ketchup packets and stuff like that for the kids. What all does that entail?
So it's a lot more, but not overwhelming. What I love is I get the opportunity to, first of all, interact with our first, second, and kindergartners. Yeah. And that within itself is an absolute chore, because these are our smallest, precious little minds that are all individuals. And the way it was told to me in the interview process, Henry, I love it. It was simply like herding cats. Yeah. So
I can see how that would.
The mistake I made, the first thing I did, Henry, I laughed.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was like, oh, that's funny. Ha, ha, ha. And then as I was walking away from the interview, I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. You can't herd cats. Cats do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. So it made me step back just a little bit and realize what you stepped into. Yeah. So, but I love it now because with the help that I had great help from the other aides, all the staff there. It just has been wonderful. So what it entails, really, we get them in, we get them sat down with structure and discipline. They have time to eat. We help them open up anything they need help opening up. We teach them more than anything how to open these things up. So if they're kindergartners, hopefully by first and second grade, some of the things they're opening up on their own, right? So they can go forward. That's the goal. And then we just keep them, keeping them all safe. Yeah. And then we get them out get them lined up quietly for recess, which they don't care for all the time, but they do it. But it's all the part of getting that discipline and structure there that they're going to need going forward in life. Yeah. And we get them out for recess. And the main thing is just to make sure that they're not hurting each other. Staying safe. That's the first thing we always are taught is S is for safety and SOAR behavior, and it absolutely is. And we teach them that, and I love that because when they can say it back to us, that means so much to me. Is that you understand that our first job is just to keep you safe, man, and that's what we're here for. So, but it's a lot. It is a lot. You start to get to know the kids. You start to build a bond with them, and it's just a trust build that it's paramount. It's almost, I don't always have words to explain how these things come together and form, but I started out doing it, and I got to be honest, I was fearful. Yeah. Because the first time I went out with 95 kids by myself, Henry, I was scared. Yeah.
That's an intimidating. I mean, it's a safe, it's a fenced-in space, and just for anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's. Yeah, it can be a little maybe disconcerting to see all those kids and trying to watch over all of them.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the more I did it, I realized that, wow, our kids have not only bought in to the absolute structure and discipline that we've given them, but they also embody the safety that we've asked them to model, and just let's stay safe and let's make good choices out here. So to see that is just an absolute joy to see, man. So again, like I said, the more I did it, I don't want to say easier because it's never easy because you're always keeping your head on a swivel. You're watching everywhere. It became a lot more manageable and a lot more of knowing what to do and where to be and where to go. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Again, like I said, I started out scared, but now that I've been in it, I'm in my second year. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And the crazy part is, Henry, if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, this is not what I would have ever imagined what I would be doing. But I cannot see me doing anything different now. Just can't see it. So, I absolutely love being a lunchroom aide at Stephen Bell. Absolutely love it.
All right. We're going to come back to that because that's an important point that you just said that I wanted to ask you about. But before we do that, let's talk about your second job. You are also a bus driver for our district. And you see students from, I guess it would be K through 8.
Yes.
Right? So, also, speaking of safety, because that's your number one concern at that point.
Absolutely.
But talk about a little bit what you do as a bus driver.
Yeah, as a bus driver, same concept. It's all about keeping our kids safe, man. And again, even there, I build that bond with them. I make sure every morning we are truly the first face they see. We're the first. So we represent the district.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility. Make sure we set the pace right. Set the standard. I make sure I greet every one of my kids. Now, I don't expect every bus driver to do this because it's just something that I have always done and enjoyed doing, and I just do it. I know all of my kids by name. So I greet every last one of them. They get on the bus, good morning, Emmett. Good morning, whoever, whoever it is. I greet them, and they generally 90% of them respond. Though even those that don't, it's okay because what I come to find out, Henry, the ones that didn't respond, I didn't realize that I still made an impact with them because there'll be times later on that they'll bring up that, no, I'd rather be on Mr. Daniels' bus. Or they'll say things like that, and it just blows my mind because I'm like, well, they never said a word to me. I would speak every morning. I would talk to them every afternoon, and they never said a word. But what I didn't realize is that made an impact. And that's what they needed. So I like to keep our kids social because sometimes we don't know if they get social interaction at home. We don't know the limits or how much they get. So I always keep that open and communicate with our kids because they need that. And like you said, safety is top of mind. Keep them safe on the bus. They know the rules. I don't treat them like packages. They're allowed to talk as long as what they're saying is respectful. I don't let them do anything inappropriate, but I allow them to be themselves without being offensive to anybody else or hurting anybody else. But I love that because they can be themselves in that space as long as they're following the rules still. So I love driving the bus. That's one of those things. And that was funny because I was just talking to my oldest son yesterday. I said, and I've told him this before, whatever you do in life, make sure, whatever you choose, make sure it's something that you would do for free. That way, when you choose that as your career path, you don't mind doing it, and you can always show it with a smile, and you can always do it with joy and never wavering and wondering, why am I doing this? You know? So, and that's how I feel about driving. I absolutely love driving, even with the crazies out there on the road sometimes, the challenges. I absolutely love driving. I don't know how that happened, but I absolutely love driving. So the opportunity I get to transport our kids safely to and from, man, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
You mentioned, every kid's name on the bus. How long does that take you?
Wow. So it takes, in all honesty, it's been different because this is my second official year, but third year. So when I do my training in the beginning, if I have somebody ride with me, like we call them dry runs. So when we're driving around with no kids on the bus before the school year starts, I'll start to quiz myself when I get to the stop, and I'll ask the person that's helping navigate for me. I'm like, okay, is this Evan, Alana, and whoever else is at that stop? And they'll either say yes or no. So as I do that, and then as I get to identify no faces to names, so probably about, it's tough sometimes. Now the kids are going to hold me to it when I say, of course, give me about 3 weeks. Gotcha. Sometimes at the most, 3 weeks at the most, I usually start to settle in and pretty much got it. But sometimes it takes a little longer. This year it was a little tough for me. My BCI route was a little challenging because there's a lot of them, man. And they come fast. They come very fast. So
absolutely.
Yes.
So people who haven't spoken to you before, if they're listening right now or watching right now, they can probably pick up your energy and hear your voice. You have one of the most positively infectious attitudes I think I've ever been around.
Thank you so much.
And I just wanted to kind of ask you about where does that come from for you? Obviously, like people, people can fake that they're happy, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
But they can't do it as long as I've known you.
Absolutely, and you can't. And I love that because that is so for real. And I can't take all the credit for it, man. It's I gotta first of all give thanks to my Lord and Savior. I have to say, He made me like this. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, and this is gonna sound crazy, Henry, there's times where I want to be mad.
Yep.
But I can't.
Yeah.
I want to, but I can't. I want to be angry about, but I can't because I find joy in all of it. In everything that we do, I've been able, and it's a blessing. I've been able to find joy in all of it, and because I can't stop smiling, because trust me, I've tried, it doesn't work. I've tried to stop smiling, it just doesn't work. I love to love people. I think that's the biggest part, is that I really truly love to love people, and He put that in me, and I can't take the credit for it, but because it's in me, why not just do it? Just do it and have fun. That was one of the biggest things that I've had to learn in life. Whatever you do, find a way to have fun. Enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, trust me, it's going to show. It's going to show not just in your physical behavior. It'll start to show mentally. It's going to show in your performance. It's going to show. So if you don't absolutely love what you're doing, man, I'm going to have to ask you to step away and find what you love. So, and I appreciate that because I just do. I really love to love people, man. And I think sometimes that gets forgotten in our current state of the world, that, everything is so fast paced that we miss out on some of the social interaction that we were, as a people, we were intended to have these kind of social interactions. And I think sometimes we miss that. And I love that I've been placed in this district to be able to have that interaction with our youth coming up. Like I said, I never imagined 10 years ago working with kindergartners, first and second graders, and me loving it. Me absolutely loving it. It blows my mind, even to this day. Even if you were to ask my wife, she would kind of look at you and say, didn't see that. Didn't see that. And she's a school teacher. She's been a school teacher for 20 years. She teaches pre-K. But I couldn't see me doing anything different now. And I just love to love people. So if I'm guilty in anything, that's it, man. I just love to love people, man. And I'm just grateful that I get the opportunity to share. And they share with me. I learn so much from our kids, too. I learn so much that it's just, I just can't see me doing anything different. It would be a waste not to have that interaction with them.
Gotcha. So you've mentioned it twice now, so now we're going to tackle it. You said 10 years ago you wouldn't have been doing this.
Yes.
What were you doing 10 years ago?
Restaurant management.
Okay.
Woo,
I can absolutely 100% see that, honestly.
Yes. Henry. Boy. I loved it, though. Don't get me wrong. I would not change anything. Today's climate, I am grateful that I've been allowed to take this path career-wise, because this is a much more stable and a much more, if I can say, controlled environment to where there's a lot more consistency in this. Even though I know some things we don't have that consistency that we want. Right. But there is an overall consistency that we know what we're doing pretty much on a daily basis. But as restaurant management, I loved it. I got to say, we talked a little bit on the side about wins and losses. That was one of the greatest things. So I work for a few different chains. I want to say, I'll give you the major two that I work for. One is unfortunately no longer around, Frisch's Big Boy. Okay. Sorry to see you go. It happened. But then Olive Garden was the absolute best. The only reason I left there is because the distance they had me traveling. I was going to Richmond, Indiana every day. And after 3 months, that got to be a little taxing because we talked about quality of life, and that was unfortunately not being met. But what I loved about restaurant management was what we're doing right now. The absolute interaction. No day was ever the same. The people and making people happy was what we did. And that I love more than anything. And if we didn't get it right, I had no problem with doing my best to make it right for you. So that part of it I miss, but then there's a larger part of it I absolutely do not miss. So to ask me to do inventory orders and final week counts and all those things that go with restaurant, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore, because that was a lot. That was an absolute lot.
It's funny because I was just talking with our Sodexo food service manager, Christian Alvarez. I don't know if you've met him yet.
Yeah. God bless him. Yeah, I have in passing, yes.
But we were talking yesterday, and like I did 10 years making pizzas.
Oh,
so
God bless you. So you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know the ins and outs, buddy. It is real.
I don't think there's a better job coming up than food service.
Absolutely.
You just learn how to deal with people and
everything.
People who are, let's be honest, especially if you've got a manager who's willing to make something right for you. The end of the world is not a tomato on your burger.
Absolutely.
We can take it off.
We can fix that. We can fix that. And don't you know, that was the hardest part, was to teach others how to be relatable enough that you can make a bad situation or a mistake.
Yeah.
We clearly could have just made a mistake in the kitchen.
Yeah.
We can fix this mistake if you give us the opportunity.
Right.
But to teach others how to learn how to find that compassion enough to say, oh, we did mess up.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Here's what we're going to do to get that right.
Yeah.
As long as it's okay for you. And have that conversation without feeling like you have to defend yourself.
Right.
And that was something I had to learn. That's why I love what we do now. And a lot of that kind of goes into what we do today. Yeah. So you're right. I totally agree with you. I think it's good if you've had some time in the food service industry to absolutely, number one, deal with people, deal with change, and deal with some adversity, and deal with some things that are just flat out uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great problem solving.
And I think we can make our pitch right now. Hey, be nice to your food service workers.
You really need to. It matters.
All right, let's bring it back to serious world here. You were in one of the classes that the entire district has gone through Focus 3 training and stuff like that. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to kind of be in front of the class that you were in.
That was a good
time.
And
thank you, but that's not what this is about.
Right, but it was.
But I did clock you. You were, nodding along a lot, and that's, I think, when I first kind of got to know you a little bit, and sharing your stories when we asked, and that was awesome. But how much of that Focus 3 is kind of, for those who don't know, it's the crux of it is take a beat, figure it out.
That's right.
Everything's going to be fine.
Absolutely.
How much of that kind of like you said before, your superpower of positivity is what I'm going to call it, comes from God, and that's awesome. But how much of it is that focus on making sure we are like just not reacting, but giving a good response?
That's right.
How much of that, the Focus 3, you were just relating to it, or it's like, I've put that into practice a little bit too?
I really put it into practice daily. It has to be. And the reason being, you're dealing with individuals and precious minds that you want to make a positive impact. So what I do, Henry, makes a difference.
Yeah.
If I don't respond the right way, because and I'm not trying to cliche it, but the event's going to happen.
Right.
We are not, if you spent any portion of the time with me on the playground at Stephen Bell, those events are real.
Yeah. Yep.
And they happen. They're not always bad, because there are a lot of good events as well as events where we're concerned, and we want to we want to teach our youth to make a better choice. But it's how we respond to it. Is what really gives us the outcome that we're looking for. So I've learned from Lisa Burke, who is and Cindy Blumenstock. They were the first aides, the lunchroom aides that I worked with, and Lisa's still there. When I say pillars, the janitors too, Gloria and Carson are absolute pillars in helping to mold us and show us, because that first year, I meant it, Henry. I was scared. I kept showing up every day, but I was scared, because I'm like, man, are y'all sure? You really want me to go out and take all of them? And it's okay to, but as time went on, got an opportunity to see that what we learned, that event plus your response does get you the outcome when you respond right. And that was one of the major things that I had to see. So to see, because I'm kind of a kinesthetic learner, I like a little hands-on. So, you know, when I see somebody else and I can see, oh, okay, so that's how you handle that. And some of that I already knew, obviously, from management experience. But when you're dealing with kids, small kids, and some of them, this is their first time in a structured school setting. So you have to make sure that you're reaching them and not just talking at them. So that was something that I got an opportunity to learn. And I'm still learning. I am ever learning. If I ever tell you that I got it, tap me on the shoulder and just let me know, no, you don't have it. You're still learning. So that is, it's in practice every day. And it's not just when I'm here. It's my life, you know. I can't overreact when I'm on the, you know, when I'm in the car and somebody cuts me off before I go into Costco, or they take my parking spot. You know, oh no, it's okay. Give it to them. It's all right. Go find another parking spot. You'll be okay. It's not like I can't use the steps anyway, because I need those steps anyway. So it's always in play. It's always in play, and I love that because, believe it or not, that class really helped me to realize, because I think I made the question of, I complained, and if my wife sees it, which she might and probably will, yes, I complained about never fueling up the car. Well, now I don't even complain about it anymore, because I just handle it. Just do it. Just fuel up the car. Don't ever worry about it. Go forward. So it makes a difference. It makes a difference. So I keep it in play every day.
So this would be interesting, because food service, what is your favorite food?
Oh, man. Goodness, I gotta say pizza.
All right.
I am, and I started in pizza, so I'm with you there. I started in pizza, so pizza is where it's at for me, man.
What are the toppings? Gotta know.
Oh,
what's the go-to?
I love Donato's Founder's Favorite, man.
Okay.
With the sausage, banana peppers. Oh goodness, mushroom, onion. I add a little mushroom onion to it, man. That's where it's at for me, man. That's my go-to.
Very nice. All right, favorite drink.
Oh, favorite drink. Oh, my goodness. I have recently, flavored waters.
Okay.
I am a big fan of flavored waters. I try to stay away from the soda pop because it hasn't helped me. So flavored waters, yes, is where it's at for me, man.
All right. And then what is your go-to emoji?
Oh, man, my go-to emoji is usually the smiley face with tears.
Okay.
Because I'm generally cracking up laughing somewhere. If you don't see me cracking up laughing somewhere, something probably's gone incredibly wrong. So that is my go-to emoji right there.
Gotcha. All right. What is maybe what you're watching now, but what's your favorite TV show or favorite movie all time?
Oh, Jerry Maguire.
All right.
That is my favorite movie of all time, and I'll tell you why. Now I'll do it in short, because man, it is the absolute best. I love that both Jerry Maguire and I can't remember his name, but he called himself Daquan, Cuba Gooding Jr., the football player. At some point, both of them had to humble themselves. They had to humble themselves. And that's something that I have learned throughout the years, that's what I've had to do. I've had to make sure, stay humble in every role that you're in, because you're not the answer to everything. You have to stay humble and always stay, like I said, ever learning. Stay ever learning, so that way you can get the best out of whatever role that you're playing. And Cuba Gooding Jr. had to do it because he thought, and because of his talent, man, listen, you guys should be taking great care of me. Right. But it's your attitude. Yeah. It's your approach. And the same thing for Jerry. He had to humble himself, because he realized that, no, just because I can talk real good, that's not it. You have to really get to know your people, really get to know them, and have that relationship, have that bond. So that's one of my favorite movies, on top of all the comedic stuff that was in it too. So it was a good movie. It was a good movie. That is one of my favorites. You're gonna make me revisit it now. Yeah, man, it's worth it, buddy. It's worth it.
What is your, maybe you say it to the kids a lot, or maybe it's just inner monologue or whatever. What is your go-to quote? What do you say to yourself or say to the kids a lot?
My kids were just making fun of me on this yesterday. My Stephen Bell kids were. I always say, outstanding.
Okay.
And they crack me up, because when they call me on it, they say, Mr. Daniels, why you always say outstanding all the time? I said, well, really, because when I respond to you and I see you do something really well, I really mean that, because to me, That's outstanding.
Yeah.
That you get that you understand that you're doing well, you're making good choices, you're making good strides. Because what they don't realize, I pay attention to when they first started the school year to where they are now. And when you can see the growth in our kids, it's amazing. So I can't not reward them with a outstanding, or, man, good job, buddy. And I got in trouble from the kids. They don't like it when I call them buddy. I call all of them buddy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, why do, especially the girls, they're not on that. They're like, why do you call me buddy? Like, everybody's my buddy. Yeah. And they're just like, no. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Okay.
Because there's a couple hundred of you, there's like 1,000 of you in this school. And
yes, and it cracks me up. So that's outstanding is my go-to. That is what they get from me every time, and that they will probably keep reminding me too. Like, say something else sometime. So maybe I might want to ask them, what do you want me to say? Right. What would you like to hear?
There you go.
Put them in a little box and send it to me.
Yeah. All right, and the last question is, if you could go back 10 years, 20 years, whatever you choose, if you could go back and tell yourself one thing, what would it be?
Wow.
And would you listen?
Man, if I could go back 10 years.
Doesn't have to be 10, it could be more than that.
Yeah.
It can be when you're a teenager, it can be.
I tell you, man, that's a good one. That's a good one, Henry. Goodness. If I could go back, I would probably, man, it's going to sound rough, but it's the truth. I would have probably gone into transportation a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I would have done it a lot sooner than had I known what I know now. I would have told myself, because I've always loved transportation. Yeah. Always loved it. And, even in management, delivered, obviously, pizza.
Yeah.
Hey, as a manager, drivers don't show up. Guess who's delivering?
Gotta do it.
This guy right here,
you know.
So I would have probably put myself in transportation and just would have done it a lot sooner because I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So that's, as simple as that is. I know it's simple, isn't it? that is what I would have done, truly, because, man, to recognize and realize how much of an impact we get to make on a daily basis. We are having the opportunity to really shape and make and mold the future of the world, not just our nation, but these kids are going to be world leaders some days. A lot of them are going to be world leaders. And the fact that me and you get an opportunity to make an impact right now at this precious age, man, that's saying a lot. It's saying a lot. And some of them are going to remember us. Yeah. Some of them are. I ain't going to say all of them are. But some of them are going to remember us, Henry. And I'm appreciative of that because I didn't recognize that in the beginning. But as time went on, I realized, man, these kids are going to go on. They're going to do some great things. Yeah. They're going to do some great things. So the best thing I can do is be that positive influence, be that positive impact in their life that somewhere, not they need to remember me for me, but remember something that maybe Mr. Daniels said, or something that Mr. Daniels did that made a positive impact that's going to help sway them to make a good judgment, sway them to make a good decision. So that's the part that I would have loved to have told myself, like you said, 10 years ago. Yeah. If I could have, buddy, get started sooner. Yeah. Don't wait. Do it now. Awesome. Strike while the iron is hot.
Mr. Daniels, thank you for being on the podcast. Goodness. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I greatly appreciate you, man.
No problem.
Love the Bellbrook family.
Come on. Is he not just the most wonderful human? Thank you again, Raphael, for joining me and always having a smile for everyone. Okay, on to the ego droppings. There's a lot here, so let's go. On March 10th, we have the middle school band concert at the high school. On March 11th is the 6th grade choir and band concerts at the middle school. On March 12th, we have Future Chef at BCI, and that evening there's a middle school and high school choir concert at the high school to basically close the mid-season's concert schedule. On March 13th, it's our STEAM night at the middle school, and later that evening, we have our March Board of Education meeting. On March 14th, there's a Hope Dance for the middle school. Moving on to the next week, we have the National Honor Society ceremony on March 18th. On March 20th is the first grade musical, and March 21st is the Winter Guard and IPE Command performances at the high school. You won't want to miss that as they prepare for their regionals and all that good stuff. And then it's spring break, and I need it because I just broke into a sweat reading all of that off. Okay, please, if you haven't already, like, follow, and subscribe. Leave a review if you want to, and I will leave you with something I always do, and I know that my guest, Raphael Daniels, will enjoy. Have a good day, and if it can't be a good one, make it a great one.